About 100 years ago, long before I was ever involved in photography at all, like a lot of kids, I fell in love with cars. I had a sweet collection of Hot Wheels and a Lamborghini poster on my wall.
I'm gonna veto that poster. It's a touch childish.
As I got a little bit older in the late 90s, I started getting interested in Japanese cars. And in 2001, everything changed, and what started out as a casual interest pretty much became the entirety of my personality. If you know, you know.
Smoke.
Now, a whole bunch of years and about a dozen project cars later, I'm still super obsessed with cars and trucks, and a lot of my personal work actually revolves around cars and car culture, but occasionally my professional work and my personal work get to cross paths a little bit and I get to mix them up. That was the case for this shoot when the workwear segment of the company that I shoot in-house for decided to branch into the automotive space and wanted to have a SEMA booth. We needed to do a photo shoot to launch that project, and this is what it was. We partnered with Craig Lopresti. He's the Craig909 here on YouTube for those of you guys who are into muscle cars. Him and about a dozen other muscle cars out at Willow Springs for a vintage style track day photo shoot and video shoot. We even had an actual hawk, like flying live bird on set. It was pretty nuts. This shoot was primarily video focused and had a very narrative story, but for the stills portion, it was mostly just to support digital marketing and social media for the SEMA launch. And because of that, I had a lot of freedom to kind of do whatever I want, roam around, shoot it more documentary style, and honestly, it kind of felt like I was just hanging out with friends at a track day. The initial scene of the video is Craig pulled over on the side of the road and he gets passed by all these muscle cars. He decides to chase them down and head to the track to do some racing. The workwear brand that we are focusing on is called Hawks, and we would have an actual hawk on set the next morning. So we decided to shoot the bulk of the scene of the cars arriving to the track the night before to save time. If you've ever worked with animal talent, you know that it can be pretty unpredictable. Sometimes they don't want to cooperate. Sometimes it just takes extra time. So we wanted to front load as much of the shooting of the cars arriving to the track as possible. That way we could focus on that portion when the bird was on set. Unfortunately for me, I'm an idiot and I forgot my jacket, so I had to make a Walmart run to go buy a hoodie. Don't do that. Make sure you have all your shit squared away. So the next morning we were going to shoot the scene with the hawk, with a professional hawk handler from Hawk on Hand. I didn't even know that was a thing, by the way. That's pretty nuts, and it was really cool to see. But the idea was that the hawk would land on Craig's hood, he looks at it, and is fueled, pun very much intended, to take off and chase these guys down and head to the track to do some racing. The hawk part really wasn't necessary for stills because I wasn't following the narrative story, but I wasn't going to not shoot some shots of this. The hawk was super cool. It basically will land anywhere they point a laser pointer. So I got some shots of the hawk on Craig's truck and stuff like that, and we moved on to the next scene. Once all the drivers were staged and ready at the pits, I basically was off to the races. And God, I gotta stop doing these track puns. Jesus, sorry. But really, it was just documentary style photography for me. I wanted the shoot to feel very much like an authentic track day, and I've been to 1,000 of them, so I kind of knew what to expect. The morning at a track day is usually a lot of hustle and bustle, people getting ready to hit the track. So I wanted shots of guys hanging out and bullshitting, putting on their door cards, checking temps, checking tire pressure, stuff like that. I just floated around. I pre-briefed all of the talent to just ignore me. I didn't want anybody posing. Like if they occasionally looked at the camera or did something fun, like that's cool. But for the most part, I wanted them to just do their thing and get ready to go on track. We needed to do a scene of the race starting. So basically we had all of the cars line up in the 2-lane starting grid. We had our flag girl walk down the middle of all the cars. The hawk lands on her hand. She looks around, it takes off, and then the race is on. Kind of cheesy in Hollywood, but for the video it was pretty cool and fun to shoot. But from the shooting standpoint, it was exciting because basically Todd, the cinematographer, and I stood in between the 2 lanes of cars with him crouched super low, me crouched just shooting right over his head, and all of the cars ripped past us with loud, stinky V8s. That's a lot of fun. I probably would have liked it better if it was JZs and RBs, but I can't complain too much. Unfortunately for me, since I knew this was going to be a video-focused shoot, and video takes so damn long to shoot, and that's really not intended to be a dig at video guys. It's just the nature of the beast. I get it. It takes a lot of time. You got to do multiple takes. It is what it is. But I knew because of that, I wasn't going to get a ton of time on track to shoot. And in fact, I think I only shot maybe 3 or 4 laps total. But luckily for me, I've been to Big Willow a whole bunch. I've shot on it a bunch of times, so I knew where to position myself in the infield so that I could shoot multiple corners from one basic vantage point without having to sprint back and forth across the infield. Obviously, I'm not sprinting anywhere. That's not my thing, so I wanted to be as strategic as possible with my shooting. I also didn't want to go super crazy with the panning because I wasn't going to get a lot of opportunities. I shot all these around 1/25th of a second, which is slow enough to sell the effect of speed, but fast enough that I could get them all in one take. Willow Springs sunsets are always fucking epic, and this one really didn't disappoint. Overall, the shoot was super fun. It felt like just hanging out at the track with friends, which is something I try to do as often as I can. And this time it was for work, which is awesome. I do wish it could have been 90s era JDM cars, because that's my thing, but muscle cars they're okay. Still don't want one, but they're cool. V8s are loud and that's fun. Craig's truck is really sick. We were actually able to have his truck in our SEMA booth, which was cool, and people seemed to like it. They liked the video. Overall, the project was a success and it was pretty well received. I wish we could have had 2 shooting days, but that's just the nature of production. You have to be really fast and efficient because location fees are expensive. So we had to cram it all in and do it as fast as we possibly could, but it was all right. It was fun, had a good time. Just don't be a dumbass and forget your sweatshirt. It's cold as shit in the desert at night and early in the morning, so don't forget that.